Man, Lucario's final smash is just so powerful. Wonder if I can change its power. As more and more people get introduced into brawl modding, I can't stop but wonder, where could I get all the knowledge I'd need if I were to start from scratch? Starting by what I consider the basics of modding. By the way, I'm on the learning curve just as you are, so we're learning together from the big dogs. I need to clarify, for modding purposes, you'll need access to the game files. That can be done either using an ISO scrubber tool and rebuilding the disk image file, or by using an SD card to replace files easier and quicker, which can be done on Wii and Dolphin as well. For the purposes of this video, I'll be modifying an existing mod pack. Enough talk, let's get to know your tool. And the tool of the week is PSA Compressor. This program, made by ICLPX, lets you view, change, and basically code a character's actions and subactions, as well as setting parameters like gravity, weight, airspeed, and the like. I'd say this is a bit advanced for beginners, but we're just dipping our toes here. PSA Compressor works like a code editor. It has access to setting variables, making events, messing with hitboxes. This program, I believe, is practically required for coding a new character into the game. Don't quote me here, but characters like Sephiroth, Terry, Mega Man come to mind. To give us a better image, if we were to change Ganon's fair animation with a Falcon knee, we'll see that his knee is not actually making a hit. And to fix that, I would look at the code for Captain Falcon's knee and either copy or try to replicate it to our desires. Now, let's actually just show you the program. It may strike you at first, it did for me. This is quite the intimidating UI, but don't worry, I'll run you through what's important at this level. First, you'll see this screen. At the top, you have File, which is used to open and save your fitfighter.pack. Setting, which has a few settings you could fiddle around with. View, has tools useful for getting to know about some events or variables you may not know what they do. And Help, which lets you see the current PSAC version and file size of the current Fitfighter pack you're currently editing. Lowering the window, you'll see these 5 tabs. Compress, is used to lower the file size of your Fitfighter pack, which I'll be referring to as the moveset file from now on. Now, Events itself has 4 more sub-tabs, these being Special, Subactions, Subroutines, and Override. And the Special tab lies the coding for the character's special move. They're identified by action IDs. On the Subaction tab lies the coding for the character's many subactions. You see, every action of the game has its own coding, and generally, there's part of the code on most actions that call for subactions, which themselves are usually linked to animations. And that's how you generally look up anything on the Subactions tab. Either you know the subaction ID, or you go by the name of the animation being called. The List dropdown has 3 options. Main, which usually contains hitboxes and the like, GFX for the graphical effects, SFX for the sound effects, and Other for miscellaneous code. You may use these tabs to keep your modding organized. Many of the values in PSA Compressor may be in hex, which I'll try to explain more in detail in a future video. The buttons Add, Modify, and Remove will add, modify, or remove a selected event on the code list. Except for Add, they'll always add a no event at the bottom of the code list. And speaking of events, there's many events. You may check them down here. I'll try to cover making a hitbox guide in the future, but for now, I want you to have these resources to look on your own while I make it. Now, for the Subroutine tab. It's useful when you want to execute some code inside of another code. For example, Ganon doesn't have an angled F-tilt, but there are still 3 subactions related to his F-tilt. On one of them is the full hitbox coding, and on the other 2, there's a go-to event that redirects to the part that has said coding. This is made to avoid repetition and making the file size even higher. You may use subroutines like this if you have some repetitive code. This is often used in rapid jabs. Lastly, the Override sub-tab lets you write code over the general code found in the fighter pack, the general moveset file that everyone follows. Here, you may change some actions coding, hence why it looks so similar to the Special tab of things such as shielding. And I modified this for the Ganon parry mod I made a while back. Raminator used it to have everyone make this ultimate-esque air dash. I'd say this is kinda advanced, so I may not recommend you messing with it yet, but keep an eye on it. And if you do mess with it, please have a fighter pack file as a reference. Finally, out of that tab, next tab is Attributes. It has many character attributes that can be modified. They have descriptions and are very self-explanatory, such as weight, airspeed, or shield size. Now on the Articles tab, you may find the layout similar to that of the Events tab. This is because this is basically the Events tab for the character's articles, such as item-like objects. Additionally, there may be some parameters related to your special moves that could be hiding here. For last, on the Data tab, there are many values you may modify, with caution only if you know what you're doing. One I find useful is hand bones, which determines the bone an item should be attached to, to avoid things like this. Frankly, I am not very well versed into the Data tab, so if you have some relevant information, please let me know. Man, that was a blast. I hope it works. We'll add, modify, or remove as selected. As selected. I'll try to cover making a hitbox guide in the future to share it. So if you have some relevant information, I'd be happy. Oh man, that. Yeah, that's it.